Hey there, cinephiles. We all know how much I love Regal, which, once again, sadly not a sponsor. But this week, I wanted to talk about their Mystery Movie Mondays. They started back in September of last year, and when it was first announced that they would be doing this, they had everyone and their mom guessing what the movies could be. But ever since then, the movies that have been shown, well, let's just say the reactions to them have been a bit mixed. But as someone who has been to every one of these screenings so far, I thought it'd be best to share my thoughts and ranking of every Regal Mystery movie so far. Number 7. In last place, I have the March 20th Regal Mystery movie, Paint. It stars Owen Wilson in this spoof-like version of Bob Ross. And wow, this was bad. This was one of the most boring films I sat through in a while that wasn't Oscar baity. Of all the showings, this probably had the biggest walkout ratio. Like, it was every once in a while another person would just walk out. I swear, like every 10 minutes of the movie. And honestly, it was the longest hour and 30 minutes I have spent this year so far. It just really sucks because I had a feeling that this was the movie for this showing, and I was excited for it, but then I saw it, and well, I never want to think about it again. Number 6. Missing is the January 9th screening. The sequel to Searching, it does the same thing visually that Searching does, which is basically tell the whole story through computer screens. And well, this felt lackluster and ultimately forgettable. This one was much more of a crowd pleaser as the audience itself basically stayed for the whole showing. I think there was like one person that walked out. But to me, I figured out things were going to happen. It seemed like stuff was obvious from the beginning for certain things. And well, I don't know. I've already forgotten so much of this movie. If you want to know more of my thoughts, I did do a review on this, so please check that out. But yeah, if you like Searching, you might like this one. Number 5, the first mystery movie on September 26th of 2022, the one that started it all, The Greatest Beer Run Ever. This set the tone for the rest of these screenings. I should have known that this was basically the vibe and tone and quality of the majority of what these mystery movies would be. AKA not great, just okay, and basically forgettable. I mean, when you're starting out something like this and you have a movie from the director of Green Book, not a good look. But it's fine, it's not a bad movie. It's not great. It's just ultimately safe. And speaking of safe, number 4, Spirited was the second mystery movie, and it happened on November 7th of 2022. I love musicals, but this was basically as safe as a Hollywood musical could ever be, especially being one about the holidays. Honestly, if this movie came out like 20 years ago, like around when Elf came out, I'm sure this would have been much more beloved. But really, this just felt so safe and blah, and the amount of people that walked out of this one was kind of funny a little bit. It's one of the ones on the higher end of people walking out. But really the only reason that this movie is so high up, it is because of that Good Afternoon song. That at least is an earworm and I could somewhat enjoy it, but the rest of the movie just felt like fine. That's really all I can say about this, really. It did scare me, though, that this would be all streaming movies because this being the second movie, it was also another Apple TV Plus release. Thankfully, it's not just streaming movies that are Regal Mystery Movies, but this did have people thinking that it would only be that from then on. Number 3. Now we finally have a true uptick in quality. This one's for the most recent screening on April 17th, and it's a Finnish film called Sisu. Basically, a retired Finnish soldier hunting down Nazis at the end of World War II. That's it. That's the movie. It's very film right. If you know their channel, it's like if they made a feature film in theaters, this would be it. From the look, to the plot, to the character, everything. Not that it's a knock on it or that it's a bad movie, but it's definitely something that feels more student made or non-fully professional. But overall, it's still a good time. I wish it was 20 minutes shorter and the cinematography and color grading was more consistent. But besides that, a fun little movie for sure. Number 2. Champions is probably the actual best mystery movie. It came out on February 27th of this year, and well, it stars Woody Harrelson, and he's basically the coach of a Special Olympics basketball team. Sounds very 90s of a plot. But no, this one was sweet. It was really heartwarming. It was nice. It was comedic. One for the family to really watch and enjoy. And in fact, the people next to me really loved it. As for me, though, it is long. I would say, like, there's 2 to 3 times this movie could have ended before it actually did, and then they just kept kind of going. I think it's like at 2 hours or something like that of a runtime. If this was 145, 135, this would be a knockout of the park. But overall, nothing to really complain about. It's a nice little time at the movie theater, and I'm glad that I actually got to see this, even though I kind of guessed it was going to be this one. Number 1. In the top spot, I have the April 3rd screening of Mafia Mama. It stars Toni Collette and honestly is one of the most bizarre sort of Lifetime but made for theater movies I've ever seen, and I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but if it does, thank you. If it doesn't, watch this and you'll know what I mean. I promise you. And I'm sorry to the Twilight fans, but this is Catherine Hardwicke's best movie. The way that this movie is created, I swear she probably ate the head of a bat or something. Because, oh my God, I think I was levitating during this experience. Because that's what this is. It's not a movie. It's an experience. It really did get to the point where I felt like I was transcending to a different plane of existence and I was watching a completely different movie. Because the choices made in this movie, I don't know if I want to know that person. Like the one who greenlit this movie and said yes to so many of certain decisions, I don't think that's a safe person to meet, but boy am I glad that this was the movie that came out of it. And if that's Catherine Hardwicke, you know, good for you. I also saw something that this might be made into a franchise, and I hope it is because I need to see more of this wine business. And for as not great as like the camera movements and certain acting choices are, it just adds to this crazy experience that more people definitely need to watch. But anyway, those are my rankings overall for each Regal Mystery movie so far. Be sure to let me know your favorites down in the comments below. And Regal, if you want to continue this, buddy, pal, first of all, sponsor me. Second of all, you gotta pick either bigger movies or better movies or movies as crazy as Mafia Mama. I think that's the only way that more and more people are going to come to this, because lately it hasn't been selling out in the theaters that I've been to, and it used to. But then you started showing a lot of bad movies. So there's something that needs to be done there. Just show bigger movies. I know a lot of people thought it was gonna be Fabelmans, Wakanda Forever. You know, just if you can get something more on the Fabelmans line, I know you'll never get an MCU movie for this. Well, maybe down the line, but I understand that you want to, showcase these smaller movies that people probably wouldn't go to see otherwise, but you got to throw in a big one, every once in a while. That's what you need to do to make sure people keep coming back for this. Besides that, though, you'll definitely have me every time because it's just fun to see any and every movie I can. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on the Regal Mystery Movies. Have you gone to them? Do you want to go to them? Have you been to all of them? Have you only been to one? If you have, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, let Regal know how they can better themselves. Maybe they'll see this video and it'll come up on their feed, and the more people that comment, the better. Let's get Regal to sponsor us by critiquing them in a constructive way. Yeah. But as always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Be sure to follow us on our socials and stay tuned for more Yeti Films content, and I'll catch you later.